Now at 10, the latest on the aftermath of Hurricane Ida. Plus, after helping to restore power along the Gulf Coast, some local electric company workers are returning home. And Little Balkans Days is in full swing. We'll check out some of the fun.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The death toll from Ida has reached at least 61 as the Gulf Coast and Northeast struggle with the devastation the storm left behind. President Biden visited Louisiana Friday, offering words of comfort and federal assistance. Natalie Brand has more from Washington.
President Biden toured the disaster zone in Louisiana Friday, surveying Ida's destruction on the Gulf Coast.
Folks, I know you're hurting.
The president met with emergency teams at an operations center in the hard-hit community of Laplace.
We not only have to build back, we have to build back better than it was before. So when another superstorm comes, it's not the damage done.
In New Orleans, officials say power should be restored by the middle of next week for hundreds of thousands of people still in the dark.
We're really working hard and pushing to ensure that we're seeing restoration sooner rather than later.
Northwest of New Orleans, frustration is growing in the small community of Killian.
Our biggest worry is that we're going to be forgotten.
Ida's devastation stretches to the northeast, where crews are still searching for victims and helping the vulnerable. The death toll now stands in the dozens.
Things that we were told are once in a century are now happening regularly. But bluntly, they're also getting worse.
And more trouble even after Ida. In Manville, New Jersey, several homes and a banquet hall exploded after floodwaters made gas-fed fires unreachable.
This looks like this is the second story of the home, possibly. This is our dining room here.
Now the Domar family is hoping to find their wedding rings where their home once stood. Natalie Brandt, CBS News, Washington.
A FEMA director tells CBS News the agency has received a record 290,000 applications for assistance in Louisiana. Carthage water and electric plant distribution crews returned home today after a week spent helping those affected by Hurricane Ida. The crews worked to restore the power grid along the Gulf Coast. They were joined in southwest Mississippi by volunteers from Independence, NIXA, Lebanon, and others. The plant's general manager says he was proud of his employees willing to volunteer their time to help.
Carthage Water and Electric has 80 plus employees, and I think at any given moment we have 80 volunteers willing to go help and do their part. And for me, there's a great sense of pride in not only in our employees but our community that we're willing to help.
Local crews were stationed throughout Mississippi and Louisiana. Apple is easing its App Store rules. The change is welcome news for content subscription apps, including Spotify and Netflix. It will allow those companies to offer a link to a website in their apps in order for people to sign up for a subscription. That will allow the developers to bypass Apple's 15% to 30% cut of gross sales. The update will roll out early next year. The Senate Judiciary Committee is planning to hold a hearing on the 6-week abortion ban in Texas. The controversial law took effect this week after the Supreme Court refused to block it. The hearing will examine the High Court's so-called shadow docket. It's the nickname for emergency actions that do not go through the full briefing and hearing process of a formal opinion. In addition to the Texas law, the court used shadow docket orders to throw out the Biden administration's eviction moratorium. A date and witnesses for the hearing have not been announced. Walmart workers are getting a raise. The company says it is increasing pay for more than 565,000 employees. Workers in food and general merchandise units will be getting at least $1 an hour increase. This means the new U.S. average hourly wage at Walmart is $16.40. That's ahead of many other retailers. Several companies, including CVS, have recently raised their minimum wages to $15 an hour. The global chip shortage continues to hurt car makers. GM says it has to pause production at 8 North American plants over the next 2 weeks due to the problem. Ford says it has to stop making pickups at a Kansas City plant for the next 2 weeks and will slash production shifts at the other two other plants. The assembly reduction exacerbates the existing car supply shortage. Millennials are apparently in a rush to tie the knot. The company, Signet, which owns Zales and the Piercing Pagoda, said ring sales more than doubled compared to last year, and they're up 31% from pre-pandemic levels in 2019. Signet estimates 2.3 million couples plan to get engaged this calendar year, up significantly compared to a pre-pandemic year. It's been raining, and unfortunately, it's been affecting some football games. Nick Kelly joins us.
Yeah, it certainly has, Chris. Mother Nature will always have the ultimate say-so. We've seen the rain chances pick back up actually between 8 and 9 o'clock, and we're still seeing rain on 7th and Rangeline's camera right now. 73 this morning and a high 94 before Joplin saw the evening bouts of showers and thunderstorms develop, and we've got more out to the west, certainly with a big batch of storms working out of the Wichita area, and that's leading to flash flood watches for southeast Kansas and most of southwest Missouri until we hit Saturday evening at 7 o'clock, all because of the rain chances ramping back up and staying with us until I think Saturday night at the latest. Upper 70s to a few mid 80s, especially in northeastern Oklahoma, but these rain chances, Chris, will ultimately drop us back to 75, and with just enough dry time for spots that can get enough dry time, we'll have temperatures near 83 by noon and highs near 88. We'll see how much rain we're going to get, and if this is a problem for the rest of the holiday weekend here in just a bit.
All right, Nick, thank you. Before we get to today's other news, we have a somber notice to share with you. Here's Dow Quick.
We have heartbreaking news today. Christian Heddy, the son of meteorologist Doug Heddy, has died. Christian's battle with cancer ended at home, where he was surrounded by family. Since Christian's cancer diagnosis more than a year ago, many of you who never personally met Christian came to feel a personal connection to him. Thousands who followed Christian's journey on social media saw him express the joys and hopes of a well-loved 12-year-old with humor and courage beyond his years. Over these months, countless numbers of you, both friends and strangers, have reached out to the family with encouragement, well wishes, and prayers. The family has always expressed gratitude for your kindness, and we know they feel it today. For those of you who would like to leave a personal message to the family, we've provided a link through our website, koamnewsnow.com. Again, Christian Heddy was 12 years old.
Little Balkans Days Festival is in full swing in Pittsburgh. Today was the unofficial start of the festival. One of today's events, a quilt show featuring handmade pieces for visitors to check out. Elsewhere at Little Balkans Days, history came to life. At the Crawford County Museum, families got to check out the Civil War Living History exhibit. Folks showed what it was like during the Civil War era. It included horses and a woodworker showing visitors some crafting skills. Two of the industry's biggest poultry companies have agreed to pay nearly $35 million to settle a lawsuit that accused them and several other firms of conspiring to dominate the industry and fix the prices paid to farmers who raise the chickens. Tyson Foods and Purdue Farms agreed to the settlements last week without admitting any wrongdoing, while the lawsuit remains pending against several other industry giants, including Pilgrim's Pride, Koch Foods, and Sanderson Farms. The lawsuit says the contract grower system the meat companies created pushed them deep into debt to build and maintain chicken barns that met company standards. Lawsuits were filed today challenging a mask mandate for students and staff in elementary schools in Kansas' most populous county, and another mandate requiring everyone 5 and older in a small rural county to mask. Now, the suits filed against officials in Johnson County in the Kansas City area and smaller Morris County are believed to be the first since the state's Supreme Court granted a stay last week allowing enforcement of a pandemic-inspired law. Now, the law allows those who oppose mask requirements or restrictions on public gatherings imposed by Kansas counties to challenge them in court and obtain a ruling within 10 days. Well, Nick's going to be right back with the complete forecast, but first, we take time to honor one of our many four-state heroes. Major Severt Anderson served in the Army in Iraq with the 45th Sustainment Brigade, his hometown, Lewisburg, Kansas. We're proud to recognize Major Severt Anderson, tonight's four-state hero.
We had a little bit of a break in the action today, but we are set for thunderstorms to continue throughout the course of the night and through Saturday and Saturday night. And we'll break down why here in just a little bit. But Indigo Sky Casino and Resort outside of Seneca, Missouri kept quiet overall throughout much of the day. But once we got past the morning round of rain on the Kansas side, we saw the thunderstorms really start to pick on up again late this afternoon and certainly as we continue into the evening. In fact, we're going to see more developing scattered showers and storms north of US 400, not to mention a batch of rain working away from the Wichita area. So it's no surprise we have the flash flood watches for all of southeast Kansas and southwest Missouri from 44 north until Saturday evening at 7 o'clock, because some of this could be some heavy rainfall on the way. In the meantime, though, it looks like the rain in Joplin's trying to back off a little bit, but wet roads, 78, feels like 81, though, with a dew point at 77. Most of us are in the mid-70s to mid-80s, all depending on if you're dry or seeing the rain. Rain that will certainly continue as we go throughout the course of the night, thanks to a stationary front parked at the surface and our upper level energy. Certainly as the jet comes back into play, we're seeing this short wave trying to send some energy along the jet to help keep rain and thunderstorm chances in the forecast as we go through the overnight. So plan on periods of off and on scattered rain and storms. I don't see any of this turning severe, thankfully, but even so, the strongest could produce some wind gusts, and not to mention some, let's say, very, very small size hail, but mainly heavy rainfalls are going to be our biggest issue as these rain chances continue through the morning into the afternoon. But any dry time that we can get, some of you will see quite a warm afternoon. 75 in the morning, 83 by noon, afternoon highs topping out right around 88 degrees. As we go into Saturday night, though, the frontal boundary starts sinking south of I-44. That's going to be the focus for any thunderstorm chances tomorrow night into Sunday morning. Then, once we get past sunrise, the front sweeps to the south, and we're going to look a heck of a lot better for the afternoon. Partly to mostly sunny skies, lower 80s for your Sunday afternoon. In fact, most of us around 82. Now, in terms of the potential rain amounts, you can see how much of the Kansas side will see the brunt of the action once again as we go into Saturday morning, but still can't argue how some spots might see just a tenth of an inch of rain, all depending on where the rain sets up. And some of the heavier pockets can be anywhere from half an inch to 2 inches of rain. And if this falls over an area that saw quite a bit of rain this morning, that's why those flash flood watches are out. Fortunately, this is a problem that does not last all weekend long. Once we go into Sunday and certainly Labor Day, we're on the cooler side of the jet. We'll keep highs in the 80s for Monday with partly to mostly sunny skies. A pretty good Labor Day. But Tuesday, just a quick bounce into the lower 90s before another weak system could try to give us maybe a few storms Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. Then it's all about that upper ridge slowly building back in. But you can see how it doesn't have a lot of moisture. That will certainly keep us in good shape for the rest of the week. 88 tomorrow, 82 Sunday, 87 on Monday. We'll again go 91 on Tuesday, Chris, before we see highs mainly in the 80s through the middle of next week and potentially lows near 60, especially Thursday morning.
As we said, pretty good for the first week of September.
Yeah, not bad at all.
Nick, thank you so much. And Nick and I are going to go ahead and get out of here so we can turn it over to our sports department, get some Friday night high school football action straight ahead.
You're watching 4-State Friday Night, proudly sponsored by LeBet Health, GN Bank, and Crocan.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into week 2 of 4-State Friday Night. I'm KOAM Sports Director Jacob Leonard. This week is week 2 for Missouri, but we're going to start with week 1 in southeast Kansas. The Frontenac Raiders hit the field in their opener tonight against the Columbus Titans. Columbus trying to make it back-to-back against Frontenac after topping the Raiders in the opener last season. We started with about an hour rain delay. Then we played, Titans punting, Mario Mangini back to return. They'll get around the corner a little bit. Not bad field position for the Raiders. However, very next play, the snap gets away. Colin McCartney tries to scoop it and make something of it, but Columbus swarms for an 11-yard loss. They only played like 6 minutes or something, then went back into a rain delay. No score. They called the game for the night. I'm not joking. Coffee, donuts, and football. They're going to resume this one at 9:30 tomorrow morning. Well, staying in Southeast Kansas, Pittsburgh opens the season tonight on the road against former SEK rival Labette County. 6 minutes in, Cooper Hayden looking for the pass, but it's broken up by Andon Searles. Later in the quarter, Pitt blocks the punt to take over at their own 5. Grant Rolfs gets in for the score. 7-0 Pittsburgh. Then, to end the quarter, Hayden dumps it off to Rolfs. Look at those moves. Rolfs does the rest, breaks a tackle, gets into the open space, all the way in for the 60-yard touchdown. But it gets brought back after a holding call. You kidding? Starting the second, Pitt forces the fumble, takes possession right back. Rob Hollis punches it in for the Dragons. This one got called too, but it got called in. It's a final. Pitt wins it 28-0. Well, the Chanute Blue Comets, they got high expectations this season. Chanute kicks off the year at Circle tonight. Now this one was a good one. It was tied all the way through, but the Comets fall 20-12. Chanute will be on the road once again next week, facing Pittsburgh. The Joplin Eagles opened up the season with a big win last week, beating Webb City 41-40 on a last-second field goal. Now the Eagles have another tough one tonight, hosting NIXA in an important COC matchup. Now NIXA also off to a good start, coming off a 36-point win over Branson. On the third, Joplin trailing 4th and 10 here. Always right to Hudson Moore, keeps the drive alive. Then faced with another 4th down. 4th and 4, right. Going to guess who? Hudson Moore again. This time, he's in the end zone. Joplin takes a 14-10 lead. NIXA responds, getting quickly downfield. Connor Natcall slings it to Cale Combs in the far side. Then Kason Hammett takes it in for the score. Close game down the stretch. We go to the 4th quarter now. Wright hands it off to Quentin Renfro. He fights his way in. Joplin finds a way to finish this one off 28-25. Eagles are now 2-0 to start the season. The Webb City Cardinals aim to bounce back from their loss to Joplin tonight, hitting the road to face Neosho. Webb City gets their first win, rolling by the Wildcats 49-20. Dupree Jackson, nice night. He scores 3 touchdowns on the ground for the Cardinals. Quarterback Cole Vaden picks up 2 touchdown passes. Now the Cardinals return home next week to face Republic. Another big one here in the COC, Carthage hosts Carl Junction, aiming for a 2-0 start to the year. Now this one was actually a defensive battle for a long time, but Luke Gall scores 4 touchdowns, all of them in the second half. Finished with more than 250 on the ground. Tigers shut out the Bulldogs tonight, 28-0. We're at our one and only break here on 4 State Friday night. When we come back, the McDonald County Mustangs aim for a 2-0 start at Springfield Catholic. Plus, Galena opens with an interstate matchup against Commerce. We'll have those highlights and more after this.
You're watching.
Well, the McDonald County Mustangs got off to a good start last week. The Mustangs won a big one against Aurora 33-22 a week ago in their season opener. Tonight, first road game of the year for the Mustangs. They aim for a 2-0 start against Springfield Catholic. McDonald County rolling into the second half. Their defense big all night, swarming Catholic quarterback Reese White there. Then on 4th down, White trying to make a play. Destin Dowd though gets up, gets the tip. Mustangs defense, no kidding, all over the Irish this evening. Back on offense though, quarterback Cole Martin to Colton Ruddick across the middle. He gets in for the 40-yard score. McDonald County wins big to get to 2-0, 45-6 the final score. How about the Nevada Tigers, man? They dropped 50 last week in their opener, beating Logan Rogersville 52-31. Tonight, Nevada first road game of the year against Hollister, and they dropped 50 again. Tigers beat Hollister 54-28. Nevada, listen to this, through 2 games, 106 points. Well, the Girard Trojans have some momentum heading into their fall schedule. Last season, the Trojans finished with a 5-5 record and won their first playoff game since 2016. Now, Girard has a home game to open the season tonight, facing CNC rival Colgan. Trojans on the board first. Quarterback Luke Nigaman leaps in to score. Girard takes a 6-0 lead. Then, Girard getting a play on defense. That's Bram Bourne stepping in and getting the interception. Returns it down the far side for the pick 6. Trojans get the conversion on that one to make it 14-0. I've seen offense and a little bit of defense. How about special teams now? Alex Kester on the punt return gets in for the score. Girard scores the first 21 of the game tonight. Trojans all over the Panthers. Girard wins at 33-7. Well, the Galena Bulldogs, as always, have high expectations coming into this season. Galena is 34-8 the last 4 years combined. Now, tonight they open the season with a little interstate matchup, welcoming in the Commerce Tigers from Oklahoma. Commerce in the lead here. In the third, they're up 13. Tigers going outside the Corbin Cunliffe. Nice move, gets in the end zone, pushes the Tigers' lead to 33-14. Bulldogs trying to make something happen. Brett Sarwinski looking deep down the far side. He's going to get intercepted. That goes back to about the 10. That would set up this. Commerce gets into the end zone. It will be Seth Haley punching it in. Tigers go to Galena and beat the Bulldogs tonight 40-14. Well, in the CNC, Riverton and Baxter Springs meeting tonight in week 1. Baxter Springs, their first season under head coach Russell Burr. Now, these photos from our very own Daniel Tustin, talented guy. Tonight it's Riverton starting the season off on the right foot, beating Baxter Springs 52-0. Rams are at home once again next week, hosting an interstate matchup with Quapaw, Oklahoma. Now, that is all the time we have here tonight on 4 State Friday Night. Be sure to switch over to Fox 14 at 11 for this year's very first edition of Press Box. Now, that show is 30 minutes long, all football, so we'll have even more highlights and scores from all across the area. That's our time. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you right back here next Friday.